This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
Before we get to the lot, let's hear from our sponsors.
Shouldn't having conversations with your money be easy? Like easier than pronouncing Worcestershire? Nope. Worcester. Worcestershire. Yeah, there's no way anyone gets that on the first try. F&M Trust is here to help you have better conversations with your money. Go bank it easy at fmtrust.bank.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 147 of Beers in the Lot. Before we get to the episode, here are your weekly reminders to check us out on our website at beersinthelot.com. And anytime you want to get in touch with us, you can always hit the website, but also we're very active on Discord at beersinthelot.com/Discord. We were watching Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final between the Florida Panthers and Vegas Golden Knights. That led to a lot of discussion about the matchup and the styles of those two teams. We also talked about recent hirings for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Washington Capitals in Kyle Dubas and Spencer Carbery. And there was a common theme that kept coming up around how much work it takes to make an elite level of hockey like the NHL and then also maintain an elite level of hockey. So without further ado, let's crack those beers.
Well, beers have been cracked. Aaron, what do you got tonight?
Well, courtesy of a good friend of mine that you know very well, Daniel, it's you. I have...
Hit me.
I have from Treehouse Brewing Company, an Outlier Kolsch. It says on here, it's beer for living. Like that. It's beer for living, you know?
You like to live.
You just live, you have beer. This is the
laugh,
beer
love.
for that.
I was waiting for it.
This is the beer for the live part of it. It's pretty good. It's really good. You were right. It is good. What do you have, Daniel?
I'm back on my treehouse bullshit again tonight. And I have a Julius. Nothing too complex. Just keep
How many
it
J's
simple.
and S's in this one?
Just one. It's
Okay.
like their main beer, pretty much.
You told me that they have multiple J's and
Yes.
S's.
If they have multiple J's in there, multiple S's, that's extra juiciness.
Ooh.
What do you got tonight, Riggs?
Courtesy of field reporter Ross, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. He's the one that gave it to me in the
Correct.
parking lot. So we were doing like deals in the parking lot last night. It was really weird.
You get a
So-
treehouse. You get a treehouse.
Yeah. I have Pink from Treehouse. It is an American IPA brewed with the hop variety known as Pink, which this is excellent. I mean, Treehouse
Yeah.
is awesome,
Yeah.
but like this is very, very good. Like this, whatever. I think the label says the hop has it has like lineage in the US, Europe, and Japan, which is interesting. Coming out of Idaho. So it's a lot like, Galaxy, which would come out from that way. Very, very good. This is awesome. Thank you, field reporter
that beer.
Ross. Yes. And Jonathan, I believe, has a task that he has to perform with the drink that he has.
Yeah, I have a Smirnoff Ice. I'm icing myself.
You done iced yourself.
I need a lot of people to pray for me because I can't stop winning. So
There he goes.
And
Wow.
there he is icing himself.
It's gone.
Yes.
And it's gone.
yeah,
Well
stop
done.
winning.
With a bottle even.
Yeah. So where's
Yeah,
number
thanks.
2?
No straw.
no.
For the chug.
I know.
You
but
don't even need that.
no.
Impressive.
Thanks.
It's almost like you got hustled one time.
Just once.
We're not going to go there.
Day that will live
Not
in
tonight.
infamy. Yeah, we'll just.
Where's your second beer?
I'll get it. Just give me a moment. It's a long way to go back downstairs. So
You should have had it in your holster.
I should have, but I left my holster with my gun, so
Damn
I
it.
don't know. Sorry. I left my 6 shooters in my holster instead of my beers.
Your pearl-handled
My
shooters.
my ivory-handled 6 shooters like Ned Needlander from Three Amigos. So
Yeah.
Sorry. So how we feeling, gentlemen, this evening after a
Pretty good.
lovely night of OFBG hockey?
It was a good night last night.
Points night last night.
Points night for
Yes.
our team. Ooh. Well, for Daniel's team too, actually.
Yeah. What was the score on your game, John?
10-2.
So you had double digits on one side.
Yeah, we said it on the bench. I was like, we need double digits tonight. So we went out, we got double digits. So
Beers and a Lot crew got their cookies.
Oh yes, cookies. The cookies were had.
Yeah, a bit of a goaltenders duel on our rink. Yeah, sorry, AGM goalie 38.
Hey, he won though. He won.
Yeah, he had the W.
He got the
Stat
win.
that matters.
Yeah.
And a good time in a lot too, actually.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably due to like the times being closer together again.
yeah.
So
That's probably
both
part
the
of it.
teams were out like almost exactly the same time. I mean, it was beautiful weather out, so
Oh
Yes.
that also
Yeah, it was
kept people out. It was awesome.
crisp, right in the 60s, right in the sweet
Yeah.
spot. So you could no hoodie if you choose, or hoodie if you want to. Like it was right on that line. Oh, it was flying last night. Everybody was. It was great.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to stay when the weather gets a little nicer too.
The
Yeah,
boys were
that-
just taking it easy.
Those
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right.
Those first couple like really good nights of weather at OFBG are like those are the nights when everybody stays, and you definitely have to observe the midnight rule, or you know, people might get in trouble.
It sneaks up on you.
It does, but also Daniel, like the last I don't know couple seasons, maybe the last 3 seasons, the game times have been like almost an hour apart. Some cases
Yeah.
they were
Yeah.
an hour apart, which means that the early game people leave. You know, they have their 3 beers and they leave by
Mhm.
the time the second game gets out. So it's kind of like a ghost town in the lot.
Yep.
When that second game gets out. So yes, having the game times close together in OFBG is like perfect. 20-minute difference,
It's critical.
15-minute difference, perfect.
Yeah, it was also very dangerous for my crew coming out from West Virginia, because what we did last season, we haven't really done it this season, but last season we would the person who had the late game would drive, so they would have like a couple beers and be ready to go, because the early game we're out in the parking lot, we're hitting
Yeah.
it hard because we don't have to drive.
Yeah, Danny, you left blind a few nights, I
Yeah,
think.
just hitting it hard.
Yeah, it doesn't help when you're telling me to drink to pick a beer and turns out to be a double IPA, 8.5% or whatever it was.
I was like, "Here, Aaron, you'd like this." He's like, "Oh, it's pretty good." He gets halfway done. I'm like, "Hey, you know that's like an 8.5%, right?" But then I gave you a 4% afterwards. I gave you a
that's
nice,
right.
easy one after.
I forgot about that one.
The Sunshine Pilsner, I think, or Sunshine Pills.
Yeah, that
Oh,
one was good.
Trogs.
Yeah. That is good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic brewery to visit if you're in the
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
area.
If you're up in
Delightful.
Hershey for the Calder Cup final,
Some of us may be.
yeah.
Some of us may be going.
Yeah.
Especially if a Mr. Shane Wright is in the building.
Yeah. If Coachella makes it, we are definitely going.
I told Riggs last night jokingly, it's going to be my personal mission to motivate that young man by any means necessary.
You mean demotivate?
No. I hope it.
He's gonna motivate by demotivating.
You know what? I'm kind of like a Mike Babcock type motivator. I want to tear you down a little bit before I build you up. So
or just tear you down and tear you down and tear you down and tear you down.
It
Until
depends
one
how
of
you
you
look
leaves.
at it. Like I said, I'm an old school motivator, so a little different. But I kind of would love to see like Shane Wright just go on a tear and like almost like Jim Craig, you know, when he gets his American flag and he's like, "Where's my father?" Shane Wright's like, "Where's that little freaking jerk with the signs? Where the hell is he?"
You just want a 30 for 30.
Yeah, just to see like Shane Wright stunt on me. So yeah,
I just want to see you make a sign that says Shane is a poo poo pants.
That's probably the most polite one I'll make. I have a few others.
Well, we want to get into the building, so.
Well, but I'm gonna make it like kind of like Shane Wright was negatively impacted by the AHL CHL agreement, and like no one will know what that means.
That's deep.
Shane will skate, Shane will skate by, and I guarantee you'll be like, you know what? I was like, man, we're gonna be buddies. We're gonna be best buddies. Like every All-Star break, we're gonna hang out because he's not going to one. So like it'll be cool. Like, you know. No, I do like Seattle, and I would like to see him like, you know, kind of go up in the system because like I think we've talked about this. I think he was like negatively hurt by the situation he was in, and he was one of the Bantams unfortunately affected, you know, with the COVID situation. So like he lost a year and a few other things. So like I'm willing to bet that played a part in everything. I mean, so that sucks.
And, oh, by the way, like he's having a playoffs. Like he is playing.
He's
very
doing
well. That team is playing very well. I mean, that's why they're in the Western Conference Final. But
yeah, absolutely.
Like, you know, he is a good hockey player. Just a little bit of an attitude thing after draft. You know, after his draft. But I agree. I think you know, the way that contracts are structured and the agreements between American Hockey League and Major Juniors definitely screwed him.
Well, and two, like I guess I kind of look at it. I don't know. I kind of like I was having a conversation with a buddy about the, you know, Kyle Dubas thing because he kind of looked at me. He's like, "Kyle's like a year older than you." I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, like to be a president of hockey operations, like that's bonkers. Like that's great. That's awesome. But I said like, you got to look at like all those jobs. Like if you're an NHL player, executive, etc. There's only 32 of those positions necessarily. You know. Like, so if you're a first overall draft pick or a first round draft pick, there's 32 of those. So, like, you are special. You are a gifted hockey player. But then after that, there's still a lot of freaking work that needs to be done.
Absolutely.
Ton. And that's even if you're like a young assistant general manager or scout or player development or video coach. Like, getting that job just starts another progress of work to move upwards. Hopefully in a long career. Like it's not, I mean, geesh, it's like, I mean, we're watching the game 2 of Vegas. Like I think about a guy like Paul Maurice, totally accomplished coach, great resume, you know, great motivator, everything. Everybody raves about him. He's only been to 2 cup finals. This is his second in all his years of coaching. I mean, that's nothing to like, kind of like shake your head at. Like he's a damn good coach. Had some really good teams too, but it makes you kind of think like it's tough to be, I mean, pro sports in general, but yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, this is the NHL. This is the most elite league for ice hockey in the entire world. Everything about this league is the best, like, period. So if you want to be involved with this league, it's going to take lots of work to get there. But then, obviously, at that point, you are starting a huge career of work ahead of you once you even make it. So, yeah, I agree with you completely that you got a lot of work to do at any point, any place in the league. Player, front office, equipment manager, everybody's got loads of work ahead of them.
Every single one of those people bust their hump all day.
Whoa, Eichel just got blown up.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he did.
Destroyed.
I think something's wrong with his collarbone. Oh,
It looked clean though.
Might have been a touch late, but Well, they haven't shown the replay for me.
Yeah. I haven't seen the replay yet.
They're just showing everybody hugging.
So you know what? I was thinking about this
Everybody
in the
loves
first period.
everybody.
As we record, it's like 2 minutes left in the second. Eichel just got leveled. But like, I feel like Florida is really trying to muck it up. And I think they just need to work on skating in this game. But like everything they've done, it's because they're trying to do something. Like Dubas got truck sticked because he put himself in that situation. And Barbashev just reversed hit him, which was nice to see. Like, thank God. Like, but geesh. I don't know. Oh, wow. He looks stunned.
I think that's Eichel's dad.
Is
really?
it?
I'm pretty sure that's Eichel's dad. Yeah.
Okay. See, and also, too, Maurice is very emotional. Butch is just on the bench.
Oh, he was already like falling or something. See how he like his legs?
It's almost like he tried to duck that.
Yeah, or he was like falling already. That was shoulder. Oof. Wow. Yeah.
It's like he saw it coming.
I think he was trying to duck that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he may have pinched a nerve or did something to his shoulder.
Oh, pinch. I don't know about pinch. That looks like something broke.
Man.
That is playoff hockey right there. Holy shit. It's a good hit.
He protected his head, though.
The best he could.
Yeah, as best as he could, but...
If he's out the rest of the series, that changed the series?
Change, yes.
Other than, like, I mean, the lines are going to be different, obviously, but...
We'll see. I don't know.
Oh, these penalties better be roughing after the play.
It's 5-on-5.
That was a clean hit. I mean...
That was Chuck hurt?
Sucks that he got hurt.
Or they kick him out?
I think they gave him a 2 out of 10 for the nonsense and the
the crap. Yeah, the shit afterwards.
Yeah, they just said Paul Maurice was shaking his hands. Ooh, this is great podcasting here.
Yeah, lots of content here.
Well, we're all watching. Like, holy shit.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we're 2 minutes left in the second. Game 2. Vegas up 4-0 as we record. Has anything shocked you a game and 2/3 way into a second game? Anything shock you about this series yet? Anything really stand out?
No.
I can't comment because I didn't see the first game because I was not in town. So,
Oh,
I can't say I'm shocked, but I did think that Florida would have a better showing thus far.
Especially like this game. I mean, 4-0. Oh,
I think they're okay. I don't think they're that far off. But Vegas is really kind of just like their forecheck. It's given Florida problems.
So they are both playing exactly how they've played up until this point. And what you're seeing is finally Florida is against a really bad matchup for them. Because I think it's really on the back end. I think Vegas's back end, they can just roll the 6D and not really have to play matchups, like hard matchups against Florida's top guys. They can just, whoever's up can go out depending on situation. And Florida can't do that. Like they've got a hard match. I mean, they were trying to, until he went out, it looked like they were trying to put Dubas against, Vegas's top guys, which is a colossal mismatch. Like that can't happen. Like, so I think that's what you're seeing. But as far as how they're playing and the results, it's exactly how they got here for both teams. They haven't really changed anything.
Well, I know the Dubas pairing, they would put it out in the Carolina series, and Carolina kind of was licking their chops, but Carolina, they didn't lose.
But Carolina can't score goals. They came into the playoffs not being able to score goals. So it didn't matter. Right. It didn't matter
against that team.
Right.
But Bob also, too, like he's getting some of the looks that Vegas is getting. He hasn't seen some of the looks that they're getting from the point or even some of the down low to mid-range stuff. He hasn't seen those looks. I think he's playing great, though. He's doing
I think Florida is woefully mismatched on the back end. So I think
absolutely.
I think they're not helping them. I mean, they weren't helping them earlier in the playoffs either, but now it's like it's exposed, right?
Well, Vegas too, like Cassidy really believes like your D activates more, like for the modern game, let's call it. So for Vegas, it was kind of like almost like their system last year, but advanced, because the board believes in like heavy point pressure, heavy point shots. A lot of shots and offense can be created from that. Cassidy's more like, I fully agree what you're doing in the offensive zone, but we need to activate more through the neutral zone and in our own zone.
Yeah.
Like pushing it up as not just a 5-man unit, but like you see some of the defenders, like they're not only leading rushes, but they're some of the ones like popping into plays on those weak sides. So it's showing. I mean, they, in the first and second period, really Vegas is really like, you see some of the creative stuff they're doing at the point, just like, kind of movement and then pinches, and even just some of the funneling they are doing from the point down to the net. It's cool.
There were moments in game one where I was watching like Shea Theodore walk the line, and I was like, this guy's like a slower Cale Makar.
Makar light. Yeah.
He's like
Makar
a slower.
light.
He's like 3 times slower, but he does the same stuff. Like,
and he also bumps bodies a little more than Cale too. Like he's a bigger boy. So like,
well, yeah, Cale, yeah, but yeah.
He did get suspended this year. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, McCann wasn't looking at him or anything, but whatever. It's neither here or there. Yeah. Quick intermission break while we get a word in from our sponsors.
Shouldn't having conversations with your money be easy? Way easier than translating texts and all emojis. Smiley face, siren, apple? Mom is eating a spicy apple? What? F&M Trust is here to help you have better conversations with your money. Our FlexLock line of credit lets you borrow from your home for big purchases. Go bank it easy at fmtrust.bank. Equal housing lender. Member FDIC. Oh, why did I teach her to text?
Light the lamp during hockey playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers can make a $5 bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-4700 on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/hockey terms.
But I do like I like the way Vegas is playing. They're good. And
now the thing I'll say about Vegas is I think it is a crime that Phil Kessel is not getting a sweater.
Same.
Yes.
In the Stanley Cup Final.
Yes.
I'll say this though, I put it in our Discord jokingly. I did think it's kind of awesome that Stahl has looked like a guy that's been bought out in this series. So that's great. I like seeing that. So selling that garbage sod, we don't like it.
Garbage sod.
Yeah.
Speaking of Discord, I like Goody's take that Mark Stone's going to be an animal in the cup celebration.
Yes, he will. He will be. And oh, by the way, I mean it's well documented on social media. He's a groomsman in Brady Tkachuk's wedding. Mm-hmm. Matthew Tkachuk is best man. So if Mark Stone is able to bring the cup to the wedding,
oh boy,
I'm not sure he would do that, but
bachelor party maybe.
But if he's able to bring it, kind of shove it in.
Brady might okay
Matt's
that
face.
just to shove it in Matthew's face.
Yeah.
Now we're also, it's game 2. Like,
there's as Paul Maurice said, everybody, let's breathe.
No, he said, let's fucking breathe.
Let's fucking breathe. Yeah. I understand Paul Maurice is a coach and he has to do what he has to do, but like he was yelling a little bit tonight and even game 1. Like Montour hit Marchessault in the head for no reason. I'm like, well, that's a penalty, Sunday through Saturday That doesn't have to be on the blue light special. Like, that's a penalty any which way you do it. But I get what he's trying to do. It's fine. So
yeah, he's got to do something, right? Because they're kind of against it right now. So so he's got to do something. There's not a lot. I've always had the opinion that once you get to the playoffs, especially when you get deep like this, the coaches aren't really affecting much. There's certain matchup decisions and lineup decisions they can make that, yeah, it's going to have impact game to game, whatever. But once you get to this point, I think it's all gamesmanship and politics for them. So they're going to say crazy things in press conferences, and they're going to say crazy things to the officials and try and get things going their team's way, because I think that's the way that they can do it. So it's interesting.
Well, they also do like a few other things, like, Paul Maurice too tonight decided to go 7-11, 7D, 11 forwards, and unfortunately Gudis is out, so it's 11-6. But also, if you kind of look at it from his end, like, you want Montour out there significantly more, and if you get Barkov and Verhaeghe and Kachuk out there more, that doesn't hurt you,
right?
So I get the decision on that. Daniel, what do you think about Kyle Dubas? 7-year contract as El Presidente of your Pittsburgh Penguins.
I like it.
Why do you like it?
Look, everybody in Toronto seemed to like him, and they were pissed off that they gave him the old shit can, right? So they were pissed about that. He's got to be doing something, right?
Yeah.
He put together a decent squad. He's good at filling in holes around superstars. So I like it. I want to see what he can do. Nice young, GM
ample man. Yeah, ample
hockey
man.
ops guy. Yeah, interested to see what he can do. Definitely want to see the difference between him and Hextall and Burke. So does he do the GM job as well?
Interim until July, and he suggested that's because some teams are either not letting certain people out of their contracts to talk about roles, or it also implies that some teams still may be competing, so they're not going to, let people speak. So he's interim to, like, let's call it July, end of July, whatever, which I kind of figured. The one thing I'm, like, kind of excited about with the Dubas thing, it's the first time they've had some analytical GM or, general managers take over, like John Chaika. Kyle was in, his role in Toronto, but it's first time, like, it's a young analytical mind of, like, let's call it new age, new wave hockey, is a president of a hockey operations for an organization. So top to bottom, they're all going to have to necessarily kind of get in line to some extent. I really like the one line Kyle did say, like, in a general manager, I want to get somebody who has, complementary skills to himself and other people that he's going to bring in. But also, he really mentioned that, he or she will have a different set of skills than I do. So it sounds like it's going to be a really big collaboration in terms of everything. Because he mentioned, the coaching staff at all levels, AHL, NHL, the, high performance, meaning like the sports conditioning and psychology department, that they'll have the analytics department, which actually Kyle fired all those people. So, like, he's going to build a new one. A few other things. So I was like, this is like a really cool experiment in terms of, like, the, like I said, new wave of hockey, like how it'll be done. So I'm kind of excited. Like, 7-year deal too. So, like, he's going to have ample time to kind of work it out and put his fingerprints all over it, which is awesome.
So the rumor is that he met with Sid, and the rumor is that there was some conversation about, what is the direction of the team while Sid and Gino and Letang are still there.
Yeah.
And are they still trying to contend, not just make the playoffs, but trying to contend?
Yeah, they want to win.
And so my question is, regardless of him coming in, is the organization in a spot where they can actually do that?
So my God honest opinion, and Danny and Aaron back me up however you choose. I feel if you kind of get rid of some contracts, move some things around, you can. Now that being said, it's not easy because there are some contracts on there that are dog awful. They're also fortunate because they're going to have about 20 mil in cap space. They got to figure out, what they're going to do in goal, a little bit on D, and then also like what they're going to do the depth wise for the Penguins. I think the top two lines as is, they're going to be okay. I think those are totally serviceable top two lines in the NHL. I really do. You got Gino and Malkin, you're fine, and then you got Rust and Getzel, and if you have, who is playing some, Raquel, totally fine as a top line player. Granlund cannot play top line minutes. I don't like that deal. So that's already one bad contract. The Jeff Carter contract, like, term sucks, but like if he's your third or fourth, you're doing okay. And I actually really like the World Championships from Drew O'Connor. So that's your four-headed monster going down the middle. That's not bad. It just depends what you surround it around with. That's the other thing too. And then, kind of like the Caps organization, unfortunately, like the cupboards are kind of bare in terms of, your depth, your upcoming talent. So what are you going to do with that? I don't think they're going to start shoveling out draft picks, but I do kind of see them like, if they can get out from a contract or two that sucks and throw in a sweetener maybe, and maybe get something back that's serviceable, that makes sense. I think they'll do it. But we'll see. It's a task, that's for sure. I don't think it's as bad as like Philly, trying to make that team contend, or like, Arizona. So like, yeah, I don't know.
I thought their goaltending really hurt them last year.
Health wise, yeah.
Yeah.
When they're healthy, it's not a problem. But
that's
if you're not healthy, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
But that's been said for the last 10 years.
Since 2017.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I mean, I've said it with Penguins fans, and I hate harping on it. We had Fleury. He did totally fine. I mean, yeah, he had a few years of like kind of garbage playoffs, but like if you look at a lot of goalies, unfortunately, it's like they have a bell curve, and sometimes that bell curve goes 2 or 3 times back up and 2 or 3 times down. It's the way it works. And then, everyone's like, get Fleury out of town. Vegas took him. He had a resurgence. He looked great. And then we had Matt Murray. We were totally fine. And then he had some, I think it was more psychological.
How to use his glove hand.
Yeah. Well, I think that was also the coaching too.
Yeah, that was coaching.
Because I read something about Bob and the way he holds his stick specifically in terms of like it makes his blocker more square, which helps him, which I was like, holy hell, I'm not a goalie. So like,
got plenty of goalies in Discord. You could ask them.
I could, but I see a lot of them on Sunday night, and judging by what I've been doing them on Sunday night, I don't want their advice. So,
Shots fired.
I will say this because I played.
You need to get a blocker to the mouth.
I know. We played Goody last night. He did like a freaking Dominic Hasek windmill thing. Fucking snagged it out of the air. It was cool. We were laughing. It was awesome.
Oh, you got glove last night too?
I got gloved. Yeah. But I was reading that, and then, Murray had psychological injury issues. They were like, get him the hell out of town. They did, because they were like, oh, we have Jury and DeSmith, and like we're in the same boat. So for like 12 years, it's been the same cycle. It just
Jury would
like
play well, and then he would get injured.
Yeah,
and then he would come back. He was like not as good as he was, and then he would get better, and then he would get fucking injured again.
Yeah, yeah. And you kind of Caps
like,
are almost in the same boat with the goaltending if you think about it. They have they had X amount of, well, I think Ole Kolzig was part of the problem for a little bit, because like they had perfectly good goaltenders in the system. They left and they became Vezina candidates.
Well, I think also like they became they became cap, sort of constrained, and you're not going to sink so much money into goaltending. I mean, that's couldn't keep Holtby, and then you're in sort of this cycle of like, okay, we'll get our number one through free agency or trade, and then have to make another move down the line. I think they've always had young goalies in the system that they've never given opportunity to.
Yeah, true.
Because they've always decided that the NHL minutes are going to go to air quotes proven, goalies that we get through free agency or trade, which is a way to do it. And that's fine.
Yeah, true. Well, so while we're on the Caps, Spencer Carbery, go.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. I mean, everybody kind of knew it was going to happen because he came up in the organization through Hershey. He was head coach in Hershey. Got them pretty far in Calder Cup playoffs during the COVID year, which was awesome because he had to deal with all that kind of stuff. Knows how to deal with the younger players. Goes to Toronto as assistant, runs a power play up there. Knows how to work with superstar players with huge contracts in Toronto, while also integrating veteran players that have been brought in on free agency and through trade. So he kind of has it all. Young guy, which is I think it's great to have younger influences on the game because it is a young person's game. Hockey is a young person's game. So if you're at an elite level, like, you need to have that mindset, and you need to be closer in culture and psychology and outright age with the people that you're working with. So I think it's all around good. Also, the guy is like, he's an animal as far as work is concerned. The story going around is that, he would get up at, whatever time in the morning, he'd go for a run to the arena, work out, do whatever, start film study meetings and all. I mean, he just goes. So, I think that's important when he is working with a player like Ovechkin, who I think also
doesn't do that.
No, I think he does. I think the only way you can maintain a certain level of play is to show up every day and do all those things. Like we talked about earlier, like Kyle Dubas has a lot of work to do as president, because at each level in an elite sort of organization, you have to keep working. So I think if you listen to interviews from players that played with Ovi or coaches that worked with Ovi, they're all going to say he was the hardest worker on the team, and that there's a reason for the success, right? And so I think if that mentality matches up with Carbery, you have a very good mix.
Well, the one thing kind of similar to like the Dubas thing, like it's a new way of thinking, new wave of hockey. So like you have a very progressive young coach in Spencer. I was saying, like, it's really cool to see, like, a new wave type president of hockey ops, because like it's different. It's going to change the game. But the one thing I can say about Spencer, which I really liked hearing, he did an interview. I can't remember where I heard it, but he said like his kind of like path the next couple of weeks and months is going to be information gathering and like bouncing ideas off of people, like past coaches. He said not just in the last couple of years, like maybe some of the players all the way back to the rookie years, depending on who and his network. And even too, like he was talking about some of the mentors and people he's reached out to. Like he was talking about Butch Cassidy. So like, good freaking coach. Boston, you fired him. So great job. Also, Don Sweeney should not be nominated for general manager of the year. And if anybody's curious, just look what he did in November, but whatever.
That's right. Yes.
That's my soapbox. So whatever. He said Jared Bednar, awesome. So like all those coaches, like younger coaches in terms of the game, not experience, but younger in terms of NHL coaching style, but like been around the game a while, live it, breathe it, sleep it, eat it. Like, I think it's cool. Like the game's going to be in a very good place, like a really freaking cool place in the next couple of years, especially you get a few more of these guys. Like I know they're talking, like Babcock got hired. Freaking, they're talking about Laviolette still. Like, I'm like, get some of these dudes out. Like They're good coaches. They're fossils, but like that's the thing. Like you're not progressing. Like
This isn't Jurassic Park. Like
yeah, man.
stop
Like,
reanimating these species. Like, oh, Lord. That's all for episode 147. Thanks so much for listening. If you made it this far, you probably like what we're doing. And if you like what we're doing, please make sure you rate, subscribe, and review on your podcast apps. And also tell your friends, tell your teammates, tell family members about Beers in the Lot. New episodes release every Wednesday. So until then, see ya.